Alright, my Tabor City home here. Went today and picked up this 20-pound pressurized abrasive blaster from Harbor Freight. Have seen a few things online. Was really interested in soda blasting more than sandblasting. Have talked to a few people who actually run this, and they run it with soda in it without buying any soda adapter kit, and they said they have no problems whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna try it, see how it works, go from there. If we need to go get the soda blaster kit, we'll do that. So figured I'd make an unboxing video for you on this sandblaster. Again, you know, I'm working on a backhoe, and I actually have a lot of soda blasting projects that I want to do with remodeling stuff in the house, as far as getting paint, old paint off stuff. That thing's got 70 years worth of paint built up on cabinets and everything else. So, you know, I want to be able to keep as much of that original hardware and stuff as I can. So, I figure I get a blaster and see how that works out for me. It's going to be kind of a we're going to do this together deal here, because as you can see, we're unpacking this together. So let's see what all we got here. Woohoo! Let's see what we got there. Here. And that looks like it. So, alright, now, for all you people out there who just throw the manual in the trash, I'm not going to tell you that I don't on occasion, but I still try to take a kind of good look through it and see what the deal is, schmeal. So, let's see what we got here. Oh, they actually give you Teflon tape in here. Ooh. French. They give you the Teflon tape for all the fittings. Nice. So, you know, I know that, and I have no idea why. I've never really had any problems with Harbor Freight. There are certain tools that I absolutely invest in that are not Harbor Freight. I'm not going to tell you that's for one particular reason over another. You know, I like Cobalt tools too. I mean, it really, it kind of depends on what it is that I'm getting and how much I'm willing to spend on stuff. And I really honestly believe that Harbor Freight, as far as for the money, offers some of the best tools that you're going to get for the money you're going to spend. So, you know, it is what it is. So, all right. Right. Let's see here. Attaching the valve. Well, we have literally 4 valves here. It's 18V. It's 11. 11V. 11C. 3 ace, 3 ace, 3 ace, 3 ace, 3 ace, 3 ace. I don't see any valves that are any different than any other valves in this joint. So, that being said, what's the safety valve there? Ooh. Nipple connector. So, I already have some open Teflon tape. So, the thing about these is, if you look at the way that the thread's running, and the thread is running this way, right? So, if you put your Teflon tape, if you start it off, I'm right-handed, so naturally I would go with my right hand this way. Well, the problem is, as soon as you start to screw that into the piece, you're actually really screwing against the way that you wrapped it, and I have had in the past circumstances where it started to come undone a little bit. So, one thing I like to do is make sure that when it comes to these threads, that I wrap it in the order in the same direction as which way the threads are going. So, give it a good tightening there. Like that. Got our handy dandy wrenches in a bucket. If you ain't got a bucket full of wrenches, then you ain't got a bucket full of wrenches. I mean, that's basically what the deal is. So, let's see here. Ooh, that's so skinny. Got to have you a bucket full of wrenches. Alright. Now we're gonna put us some more. Gonna get us another one. Alright. La da 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 da. So, tighten this one down. Now, saying it wants it in higher. So, right, come here. Ooh, come on now. It's a little bit windy here at Harbor City today. A little bit. It's actually a really nice day. It's February 23rd, I believe. And it's like 73 degrees, 72 degrees. Really nice weather. I was actually reading last night where the cherry trees are blossoming early in Washington, D.C. right now, and everybody's kind of talking about global warming on that and all that stuff. And cherry tree wants to blossom early. The cherry tree will just blossom early. I will say this, I believe that weather in the planet is cyclic. And I remember when I was younger and I lived in the northern United States, that weather up there just did what it did. It was, you know, I mean, we didn't have a lot of discussions about global warming. We just said, hey, this is a really nice day. So, I think we invented acid rain back in that generation. So, and I'll say, you know, some of the best times I had, the absolutely best times I had when I was little, everything had to do with nature. Spent a lot of time in the Boy Scouts and in Northeast Ohio, the area that I was in. Really great infrastructure for Boy Scouting. Camp Manitowoc, Camp Butler, some of the other areas up there that are just phenomenal when it comes to being able to take young people out and experience nature. Matter of fact, they're in the Cuyahoga Valley, Cuyahoga National Park system, and now whenever I go back up to that area, I know that squeaking's got to be driving you crazy. Whenever I go back up to that area, I like always go by and visit those natural parks still. It's just a big part of who I am from growing up, and I just think all kids should get an opportunity to get out there and spend a little bit of time out in nature. I don't think it does you any wrong. I think it probably occupies your time a little bit better than some other ways that people can find to do that. This is an O-ring. Attach the end pipe, blah blah blah. Attach female end of air hose to hose connection. Thread the other end of the pipe. No wind hiding porch. Shower orientation is shown. Yada yada. So we're going to put our O-ring up here. Here. Alright. Alright. Yes, I am a halfway professional player of the let's see here. So now for this piece. Now on some of the bigger models, the 40-pound, again this is a 20-pounder, but on some of the bigger models, the 40-pound model, all that kind of stuff, up here you get a gauge, and the instruction booklet is showing you, you know, it's part of that gauge thing here. But as with most men, I look at both the booklet and the picture. So, and the picture says ain't no gauge. So, let's see here. I got a pipe wrench sitting over here, but we'll see if we can do this with this or not. Now make sure when you're tightening down something like this that you're not putting the tool on the threads. You're gonna need those threads, I promise you. Again, want to make sure that the orientation of the Teflon tape is right to the threads. So yay. And by Jiminy. By Jiminy is also a rhythm that your heart can go into. Yay. We're gonna do soda blasting and medical teaching. And by Jiminy is actually a rhythm that their heart can go into, where every other beat's a bad beat. And my experience with that is that when that happens, people generally ain't feeling too good about it. We went a little bit past. So we're gonna back it up a snug. Alright. Then it wants this, what looks to be a cap. Hello? Anybody see a cap? I don't see no cap. I don't see no cap. Yeah. Alright, so for this one down here, get that tightened up. We're going to need to do a series of snugging here in order to marry this sucker up so that the back side of this thing, and I'll show you why I'm doing this in a momento. Let's see here. Whoa. We need to go a little bit further. Yeah. Alright, so this has a hose that goes from here to here. So you're going to want those two in line. So more tape, more thread. You know, on Christmas Eve, I always sit up and put together kids' Christmas presents. It's like Christmas Eve, but for adults. You get to put together your own stuff, buddy. How awesome is that? Right? It's like Christmas Eve, but for men's. And for the ladies, too. So, put some tape on this one. La la la, la la la. All right. Da, da, da. Yada yada yada. So, okay. Right. Sometimes it works out like that. Sometimes you end up in a situation like this where you have a piece that don't want to give you the clearance to do this. So what you end up doing is just moving out the side a little bit. If we straighten this sucker out, well, this just isn't going to want to play now, is it? We're just going to tighten it up this way. Oop. And we almost forgot our thread tape. See? See? Uh-huh. You know, I will say, you're not going to save yourself any time putting something together not properly, because when you go to actually use it to work on other stuff, it ain't going to work right, and it's going to be frustrating, and you're going to get mad, and might as well take a few moments, make sure you're good, make sure everything's seated properly and put together properly and the way it should be. What? That thing is just... What in the world? Okay. Alright. Let's see here. Well, that's just fantabulous. See? Not following directions. So, back that thing out of there. I throw some thread tape on this here. So, I took the, for those of you who are watching the other series I was working on, I took the torque converter off of the Ford Baca and dropped that off at a converter shop. There's actually a shop where they do nothing but work on torque converters. And I was going to take it down to my local tractor place. And, you know, nothing against guys, nice guys. They've helped me out a tremendous amount with explaining things and things like that. But by taking it directly to the converter place, a couple things, they were able to open it up right there in front of me. So I was able to immediately see what was inside the converter, how everything was, did everything, you know, was everything intact, was there anything broken. So I'm pretty certain that the torque converter was not broken at all, that there were no issues, so to speak, with it. So, which just leads me further down the path towards believing that perhaps the problem truly was the hydraulic pump on that thing. So, you know, yeah, no. So that was good. I still asked them to rebuild it. There were maybe some minor issues with it. Some of the fins, evidently, when the hydraulic pump went and it put metal down into the converter, some of that metal must have come out pretty chunky, and it actually deformed some of the fins. And the stator looked good. Everything else looked good inside of it. The bearings, all the other stuff inside of there looked really good. So Sure. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna I'm pretty sure that this piece, this sleeve here, should be turning, which it does. It's just a little snug. So, you know, I would not consider any of this to be really a problem. This is all part of putting something together. So, you know. And again, I mean, this is a really, it's not a heavy duty sandblasting job here. But I'm not planning on doing any really heavy duty sandblasting. At least not what I would think of as heavy duty. I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna get on me about tightening that thing up over there, but or about the squeakiness of this here plastic. One of you. Yeah. Yeah. So tis what it is, my friends. Tis what it is. Alright. I would really think that this pipe should be a little bit longer than what it is. And that would be the only criticism I would have to this point. You know what? That will be longer. Yup. True that, yo. I see it. I see where I done messed up. Now if I can fix it easily. That would be the gift. If I could just get it fixed easily. Let's see. Alright. I do see where I messed this up. I messed it up. So, this is not a Harbor Freight mess up. This was a mat mess up. So, I'm over here critiquing designs and I ain't putting it together right. So, you know, Harbor Freight, if you'd like to comment, I apologize. Again, I'm living in man world. In a man world, I'm not going to tell you we always read all the directions. So, we were supposed to have a valve in here. and we didn't apply that valve in there. So now that valve right there goes in there. Put a little tape over here. Again, make sure we're matching up our threads. So, y'all match up our thread there. Match up our thread here. And put some thread in there. Tighten that sucker down. Good. Do. I've been listening to Black Sabbath, and I got NIB in my head right now. So, sorry. It is what it is, and that is exactly what it shall be. So, I'll say this. Some of the best music ever on the planet came out when I was a kid. And I was lucky enough to have older brothers and sisters who were into it. I mean, they were totally into the whole... because I have older brothers and sisters, I had the ability to listen to everything. I remember my brother he was like Rush and Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, all that. My sister, she was all, Pat Benatar and Fleetwood Mac and even the disco stuff. So I was able to take advantage of a childhood that was really diverse when it came to music. I think that's one of the reasons today, kind of why I like the diversity of music that I do, because I absolutely love different kinds of music. So maybe a little bit of soul, a little bit of jazz, some country, some rock, metal, all of it. I think it's all good. Now, again, I mean, I got some teenager daughters. Some of the stuff they listen to, I ain't gonna put in the all of it, all good category. Some of that stuff, on occasion, sounds to me like somebody's throwing silverware down the stairs, but I don't know. To each his own, I guess. I don't think music's bad if we have a problem with that valve. I don't think music's bad if Lord. See? Huh? Men's should follow directions. It's just not in our genetics, though. Come on. Just saying. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. Why it's wrong. The wrongness is we have this valve installed in here. And the valve is upside down from what it should be, because the way that thing is installed, you won't be able to turn the valve. You hit the tank, So we're getting it sorted out. I apologize. I know you guys have watched 10 minutes of video of me doing it the wrong way, but I'm showing you how not to do it before I show you how to do it. See, this is you guys getting to learn from the examples of a guy on how not to do this. And that is extraordinarily valuable. So you would be better off to turn your valve this way before you start screwing it in, just to be sure that you're not, because I had it flipped upside down the other way, and that's where I went wrong. That's where I was installing it backwards, so I wouldn't be able to flip it up. And then get this thing installed here. I know that squeaking's gotta bother the piss out of you because it bothers me, but okay. We're gonna kind of put some more tape on it. Alright. This is right. So start spinning that, getting that thing in there. Is that? Yeah, that's right. So, now we're going to turn this, till get this all sorted out, till it's all lovely. Oh, see, that looks as pretty as you can get. I don't think you're going to find a prettier looking sandblaster than that. That's about as pretty as they come right there. So, la ta ta. Just want to verify. We're going to put... yep. Okay. So, and stick a leg in there, and run a cotter pin through. There we go. Yay. Stick a leg in there. Run the cotter pin through. Where'd you go? Alright. Yay. This last one here. I'm gonna bet you at some point or another I'll reach down here to get this thing. I'm gonna catch my finger or something and cut it on that thing right there. I'm gonna guarantee you. Alright, and with that done, yay. Stick this thing out there. Yay. And they say this is a pressure relief. That's very important. You don't want to blow yourself up. That is very bad. I'm going to tell you now, the kinetic energy that can come from a cylinder of some sort that blows itself up is not anything to play with. And we're not talking about like hundreds of psi either. We're talking about just small air pressures can actually do a significant amount of damage to tissue. If you ever take a, not that most of you are running around in emergency services or the medical business, but when you learn about bombings and the amount of air pressure change that takes place in something as small as a bomb, well, not as small as a bomb, but something akin to a bombing, you come to find out real fast that there's something missing here. I'm just saying. Maybe we'll figure it out, but there's got to be something to block up that other end. The small amount of air pressure changes that do occur are actually very significant inside the body. Eardrums bust with just a few psi. Some of those kind of things happen. So, and you can actually assess the injuries of somebody by a blast, and as you walk your way through that, whether or not their eardrums are busted or this happened or that happened, you can actually do a fairly decent job of estimating the amount of force that was in the blast, just by the type of injury that you find. You can get fairly close, or at least maybe not the amount of force in the blast, but the amount of force that the subject who was hit with the blast was subjected to at that time. I mean, they may be 100 yards away from the blast, and that significantly changes the amount of force that their body takes. But needless to say, that their little overpressure valve is important, and not to be bypassed, because you don't want to test it. I promise you that. There are a few things that you really don't want to push your luck with, and that would be one of them. Test out the theory of how much blast pressure you can take. Survey says no, you don't. All right. Now we're going to build Alright, so we're going to guesstimate here. We're going to guesstimate. Keep does run. That the way this nozzle works is that piece is going to go in there. Well, you know what? It's not really clear from the picture, so I'm going to do the right thing. Actually open this mail. We got that done, that done, that done, that done, that done. Number 10. What is number 10? Cause see, I only got one thing that looks like that. All right. So, excuse me. Still getting a little bit over the flu. I'm trying to get this thing done here before battery on that there camera runs out. So let's see here. All right. See. I'm gonna tell you that right there probably makes the most sense. Well, that ain't gonna fit up like that, Joe. Yo. I mean, that would fit up like that. Like if you put that in there, and we'll say tighten that down thumb tight, screw that on there. Yeah, then you would have a handy dandy little nifty bifty thing right there. The only problem still unaddressed is the fact we got a hole right here, and the only thing we have in this packet to put in that hole is right there, and it would lead you to believe that there's supposed to be a screw in this packet that would go in there. And we opened the packet. We opened everything. And we don't have no screw to put in there. So, alright. You know. Just make sure it didn't roll away somewhere. It's not hiding under the funnel. It's not in the tank. It's not hidden in there somewhere. No, no, and no. Alright. Well, we're going to see if we can find a screw that occupy that space. Alright, we're going to give it a little shot, a little test. Just, see how that works out. So it is one thing that you do want to wear a respirator when you're working with. It can definitely affect your acid-base balance pretty quick. There's got to be a way to regulate. A little bit better than that. Mm-hmm.